Okay, guys, up next we have Alisa. She has a different perspective for us today. Her grandson Cole was born with CDH. Her daughter Kelsey is Cole's mom, and I wanted to talk to Alisa today to kind of get the grandma's perspective on things. So, hi, Alisa.
Hello. Hi.
So tell us your family has a unique situation because this is not the first time your family has heard of CDH. Give us a little history
It
there.
it is not the first time. Well, the first time that we heard about CDH was many years ago. I had a cousin, a first cousin, who was born with CDH, but this was back in the early 70s. So they didn't have the technology that they have today. So when he was born, the first thing they did was they gave him as much oxygen as they could. And he obviously, with compromised lungs, he couldn't sustain that. So he only lived 8 hours.
Mm.
Yeah. So we always kind of had that in the back of our mind that we had a cousin who had passed away. And funny enough is my son has the same name as that cousin. Even it kind of wasn't planned, but it is kind of a cool thing. So it just kind of, we went along our way, and then his sister had an unexpected pregnancy and found out during the pregnancy, and this would have been, I think he's 6 now.
Yeah.
That her son Anderson was going to have CDH.
Right. So she had a brother born with CDH that passed away, and then she got
Yes.
diagnosed with Anderson having CDH, and of course,
Yes.
her world just, flipped upside down.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yes. So we've known about Anderson, and we thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. There's 2 babies with CDH, and okay. But Anderson is doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a call from my daughter. She was pregnant with her second child, and she said, I'm going in for an ultrasound. They think that there is something going on with the baby. I'm like, okay. So she went in for her ultrasound, and originally he was diagnosed with having some sort of a tumor on his chest. But the doctor decided that they wanted to go do further testing. So a week later, she went for further testing, and funny enough, was diagnosed, but the words congenital diaphragmatic hernia were never used. They told her that she had that the new baby would have a hole in his diaphragm.
Mm-hmm.
So she's upset. She called me, she's crying, and I hung up with her, and it still hadn't registered yet what it was, because she didn't know the name of it. So I'm thinking about it, and all of a sudden it occurs to me, oh my goodness, I think that is what my cousin passed away from in the 70s. And I think that that's what my cousin Nikki, her son Anderson, has.
Right.
So I immediately put in a call to her.
Right.
And I said, okay, this is what it is. And she just immediately was dumbfounded. She just couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't believe it. So Cole was diagnosed when he was in utero at 28 weeks. Mm-hmm. They wanted to send Kelsey to Houston to have a procedure done that I guess can only be done, or I don't know if only can be done in Houston is the right word, but I guess there's a specialist there that I guess you can put a balloon down the baby's throat just to open the airways.
Right.
So we're trying to decide. Kelsey says, what do I do? If I go down there, I have to stay down there because they need to be able to monitor me and the baby for the rest of the pregnancy.
Yep.
And we're just going, oh my goodness, you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Right. So she and her husband were talking about it. That afternoon is when was it a hurricane? Happened in Houston.
Oh,
in that area. Do you remember that big hurricane that happened that afternoon? And they weren't letting anybody in and out of the Houston airport. So the decision was kind of made for her.
Right.
But she ends up saying that it was the right way to go for her. So she had a pretty uneventful pregnancy, just lots of doctor's appointments and ultrasounds and meeting with specialists up at the University of Utah and Primary Children's Hospital, which were just absolutely fabulous. And he went full term.
Yeah.
He was born at 40 weeks.
So you're in California and she's in Utah. How was that for you? How was that? How did you handle that?
That was hard, just not being able to be there to support her physically. But I have to tell you, is I did fly in a few times because she wanted me to go with her to these different appointments up at the hospitals.
Right.
She said, because she wanted me in the delivery room because I was in there for her first daughter and she wanted me for her second child. And I did. I was able to fly in a couple of times and have meetings with the doctors and all the specialists up there. Right. And they prepared her and her husband and me as well wonderfully. They told us exactly what was going to happen from the minute the baby was born until he went straight into the NICU.
Wow.
So that was really great that I was able to be up there for all of those meetings and just support Kelsey in what she was getting ready to go through.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing how we're all connected so closely. You know, like once you've heard of CDH, all of a sudden you know someone that has dealt with CDH or someone else that's heard of it.
Oh my gosh.
Or,
Yes, that's absolutely correct. There was a little girl that Kelsey grew up with. And they were a day apart in age, and they played together from the time that they were born. My mother-in-law had a daycare business, and this little girl was in the daycare business, and Kelsey was over there all the time just playing. So she's known this girl since they were both born. We get a call from her last year that she has been diagnosed, her baby, her little boy that was in utero still, has been diagnosed with CDH. So Kelsey has been able to be a great support to her friends with none of her other friends knew what CDH was.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
So she's been able to be a really great support for her.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
That's
amazing. It's been amazing. Yes.
Yeah, we noticed that too. We noticed that too. But as a grandma, and now you're back in California, and they're still in Utah. How have you seen her parenting? How have you seen her relationship with her husband change? How has CDH affected them from your perspective?
I've seen her parenting change from her first child to her second child with having a CDH baby, because as you know, there is a lot involved with that. So once your baby comes home from the hospital, you don't come home with a diaper bag. You will typically come home with oxygen and a bunch of other fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I have watched her just be on top of her game with this, just knowing all of the doctor's appointments that he had to attend, and all of the physical therapy appointments and the occupational therapy appointments and just all of that. Matt will tell you that he was scared when Cole first came home. He didn't want to hurt him, because when you pick up the baby, you pick up the baby, but you pick up a bunch of cords and a bunch of things that are attached to them.
A lot of equipment.
A lot of equipment, yes. So he was very nervous at first. Kelsey just kind of fell into it like it was a natural thing. And it took Matt just a little bit more time to be able to figure that all out. But Cole is now almost 17 months old, so all of the equipment is gone. All the crazy doctor's appointments, it seems like she always had at least one, if not two a week.
Right.
So those are, luckily we're at that, she's at that stage now where those are all finished. But as a grandmother, it was hard knowing that all of that was going on and I was here. So I did stay after Cole was born. I did stay, and I was there for close to a month because they at the time had a 2-year-old.
Right.
So I was able to stay. I was able to go up, and of course, we got to know all of the wonderful PAs and nurse practitioners and NICU nurses, and got to know all of them. And I've been able to, I fly back every couple of months, and I'm able to go and see them. No, it's a real blessing that I'm able to do that.
How is Cole doing now? What's his status now?
Oh my goodness. Cole is doing absolutely amazing. With a lot of CDH babies, if you look at them, you wouldn't be able to tell that they have anything different from them than anybody else.
Right.
So the only thing that they've noticed is that he is a few months behind on doing certain things. He was 12 months before he crawled. He is 17 months, and he pulls himself up. He stands. He does all of that. He just hasn't gotten the courage up to take off to start walking yet. But yeah, he now only has to see the cardiologist once a year. Wow. Because with CDH babies, lots of times their hearts are squished. In Cole's case, it was squished up, and it was on the other side. Because he was one of the babies that, and I don't know the percentage, and maybe you would, he's a right-sided CDH baby.
Right, and that's
versus
less
being
common.
A left side, less common.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's right. So his heart decided to migrate across his chest. That is on the other side now, but he and his sister actually had something that is not related to CDH. They had a very rapid heartbeat.
Really?
Birth. Yes. So both Kaylee and Cole had to be on meds for their first year of life that slowed the heart rate down to a normal rate. And yes. Yeah. So they both were able to go off those meds at a year. And he has one lung, 3/4 of a lung on one side, and then I think half a lung on the other side, because they're all squished up there in the in the chest cavity, and they don't get a chance to form and be able to fully function. And I don't know if that's something he'll always live with, or if that's something that will eventually work itself out. I don't know.
A lot of times it will straighten out. A lot of times it will straighten out. Usually, when they get 5-6 years old, things tend to line up a little better. So maybe. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, who knows? We'll see.
We'll see. But they're all so different.
Yes, they're all so different. But he is doing absolutely amazing. he is just doing fantastic. So we feel
So
very,
tell
very
me-
lucky.
Tell me what it was like when Cole was born, and being there and seeing Kelsey try to navigate those first few days. What was that like for you?
That was hard. That was really difficult, seeing my child give birth and then they immediately take your baby away. And that, you know, you're not able to see your child for, in Kelsey's case, it was a few hours. And to not know, I mean, we had an idea of what was going to happen, but that was difficult, watching her trying to figure this out, and not having her baby with her that she could cuddle and kiss and look at. That was difficult. And then they came and got her, and they did take her into the NICU, and I have a picture of her standing there leaning over, and they're attached to a bunch of stuff.
Right.
And that was difficult, but I wanted to just be there to support her when she is, you know, back in her room and she doesn't have her baby with her.
Right.
So they did let me in as a grandma, and I was able to take a bunch of pictures of him on my phone. And
good.
was able to bring those back to her so that she was able to at least show her what her baby looks like.
Great.
Yes.
Right. Well, and grandparents play an important role. I mean, obviously my child is the one that had CDH, but I had my parents and my in-laws and grandparents, you know, in other parts of the state and out of state, that were, you know, they showed support and love and encouragement. And so I think it's cool that you guys have kind of your own experience, and you know that there's other grandparents that have gone through the same things that you have gone through.
Yes.
And, you know, there are grandparents coming up that are going to start experiencing this. So I think it's really neat when grandparents speak out and sometimes when we have medically complicated children, we're too busy taking care of them to do anything else. So your voice is being heard. You're raising awareness. Because just frankly, Kelsey doesn't have time. She's taking care of Cole. And her other little cutie, you know, like things are going on. So your role as a grandparent is really important. And I want to thank you for reaching out to us. I mean, that first day when, you know, Nikki texted me and was like, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, what? You know. But, so you have quite a support system in place right from the beginning.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you. You were there for us the very first day that we found out, offering support and encouragement. And I really appreciate that, because what you're doing to raise awareness is just absolutely amazing.
Oh, well,
we want to help any way we can.
Yeah, we're a
absolutely.
team. We're a team.
Absolutely.
We're doing great things. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Alisa.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna let you go, but I appreciate you doing this interview. This is so great to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, tell Kelsey and Cole we said hello and give them smooches next time you see them.
Absolutely. I sure will.
Okay.
Her brother is getting ready to graduate high school, so they're actually going to be traveling down here soon.
They're going to come down. Oh, good.
Yeah. So they're coming our way.
Exciting. Yeah, for a change.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right.
For a change.
Good to talk to you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Hope. You too as well.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Take care.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Linder. I play Esther Valentine on The Young and the Restless. April 19th is International Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Awareness Day. CDH takes thousands of kids a year. So on April 19th, please go to www.cdhi.org. Help the kids on CDH Awareness Day. Thank you.
Hey, what's happening, man? It's your boy Scrap, man. I just want everybody to take a serious moment and get aware for CDH, and be aware, man, and just look out for people, man, and just be aware of CDH, man. It's taking like thousands of kids' lives every year, man. Just be aware of it, man. Don't wait too late to support. You know, don't wait till it's your people. Holla back.